All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Raiders Report. I hope everyone's enjoying the holiday season and staying safe out there. Today, I'm joined by a special guest and former Nepean Raider, Ken Neal. Thanks for coming in, man. How are things?
No problem. Things are good. Happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So, obviously, you played for the Raiders a few years ago, and you grew up in Newfoundland and then you came to Ottawa. So, I wanted to know how was it like growing up in Newfoundland, playing there, and how did you end up in Ottawa?
Yeah, so growing up in Newfoundland's the best. Loved it. Um, Played hockey out there pretty much my whole life. Minor hockey with Clarenville, and then AAA kind of started when we got to I think it was Bantam, maybe midget. That's when AAA started. So played AAA for Tripin for I guess 2 years of midget, maybe 2 years of Bantam. Um, and then I actually went to Ontario Hockey Academy for my last year of midget grade 12 year. So I played there for a year and got drafted by Nepean. Um, and then yeah, I got signed by Nepean maybe a week after the draft, and that's why I ended up in Nepean. But kind of going back to playing hockey in Newfoundland, it was the best. Like playing for your local communities, great. Like in Ottawa, maybe bigger centers, you play weekday games. Like for
Right.
us, we would practice throughout the week, maybe 2-3 times practice, and then the weekends came, and it was always a tournament on the weekend. Rather, it was in your hometown or places like Bonavista and Bay Roberts, Harbour Grace, hour and a half drives.
Oh,
We'd
okay.
head there, and there'd probably be 4 or 5 teams there, and we'd play a tournament almost every weekend. So it's
Okay.
different, but it's fun. I love going up back home.
Would you say that obviously you have experience with a bit of both Ottawa and Newfoundland? Would you say there's more of a sense of community in one city or one location than the other?
Yeah, I mean it's different, right? Because if you play in Ottawa, there's I don't know how many teams. There's so many different
Yeah.
teams in
Yeah.
Ottawa, right? And such a small, what I guess Ottawa's big, but a small area, right? Like back home, you just play for Claremont. There might be, you don't even think there's tryouts. You just play on the team,
Right.
but it's different, right? But it's cool.
Yeah, awesome. So what was something during your time, and obviously you moved to Ottawa fairly young, but what
Mm.
was like something you loved about the city of Ottawa when you moved there and something maybe you hated about the city?
Something I loved about the city. I kind of I grew up in a small town, right? There's only 5,000 people, so then getting to move to the city and experiencing city life, I enjoyed that for sure. Especially when you're a little younger, right?
Hmm.
Something I didn't like, maybe at first, the traffic was a little getting used to, and it's also
Yeah.
a lot colder in Ottawa.
Oh
Back
yeah.
home got a lot of snow, but it's definitely way colder in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can you're not wrong. It gets real cold here, that's for sure.
yeah, for sure.
So just getting to the Raiders, I'll give a bit of context for people listening in. You had three pretty good seasons with the Raiders, 2010 through 2013. Racked up 40 points your first season, 85 points in the following season, and also leading in the playoffs and taking the Raiders to the Bogart Cup and winning as well. And in your last season, you had 77 points and made it to the Cup again. So obviously there was a pretty positive impact on the team. What was your experience playing for Nepean during those 3 seasons?
It was the best. It was, I didn't really know a whole lot about junior hockey kind of coming out, so the piano was like, oh, this is sweet. I'm playing junior hockey. In my first year, we were average. We weren't the best. We were young. We were a young team.
Right.
I think we were middle of the pack, lost first round, but we had a lot of young guys. And then going into my second year, we knew we had a pretty good team, but we just had unreal team chemistry. And it was almost like we would just always find a way to win. We'd be losing games going into the third, and we knew we were going to win. I think that was probably one of my funnest years playing hockey. We won the league, went to the Fred Page, lost in the finals, which
Oh
was
yeah.
tough. But I think maybe that whole year, we only lost 10, 13 games, not very many.
Wow.
Um, and then my third year, we were good again, not as good as my second year, maybe. But I mean, we didn't win, but I think we should have won the
Mm.
league again for sure. We went through a rough patch, Christmas time. I think maybe we were on a 7, 8 game losing streak, and then we came back and we were pretty good. But yeah, all 3 years I played in the team were unbelievable. Some of
Yeah.
the people I met, everyone, the organization, it was all great. No complaints for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I have talked to about it have really praised just the people that you meet, and that's like that everywhere. But Definitely a positive aspect to
Yeah,
that.
we had a pretty close team too. Like we were always together, everyone were buddies, so that helped for sure.
Oh, definitely. Um, so obviously you guys won in that second year. Is that your most memorable moment playing for the Raiders, or do you have another maybe a memorable moment that really
No,
stuck with you?
I would say, my second year probably, winning it all on home ice. That was pretty cool. Like you don't really get a whole lot of fans playing in Nepean, 50 people a night,
Right. Yeah.
maybe. And then, I think that rink was sold out
Wow.
for
Yeah.
the finals, which was pretty cool. And I know, like, we had a couple local guys and their buddies used to come and stand behind the glass and had the big cowbell going. So
Oh,
that was, there's some pretty cool atmospheres to play there. And there was a lot of guys, like, that finals, there were so many guys that were, going D1, guys that played in the NHL. Like,
right.
it was crazy the amount of talent. So that's probably the most memorable moment for me.
Awesome. Um, what do you think? To what do you owe the credit of that team's success? Would you say it was the chemistry, between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like our team was just so close. Like it didn't matter, kind of who you're playing with or who was out there. Like we knew someone was going to be successful. I mean, that guy Pete is a coach, so definitely a lot of credit to him.
Right.
And he put me on a line with Craig Cowie and Ryan McLean, who were just was unreal. It was just one of those lines we just had so much chemistry. I mean, Cowie, I think I don't know if he won MVP of all junior A, but like he probably should have. I think he had like 150 points, like something crazy.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, it was just one of those lines and chemistry. It was awesome.
Yeah. That's great. So the Raiders, as of right now, not really in the last few seasons been as competitive as they've maybe wanted to be. Coming from someone with experience winning at that level, do you have any advice for a team looking back to getting into a winning mentality?
I mean, it's definitely different now
Yeah.
than when I played. Like you almost got to go through those like growing pains. So like my first year, like we were very average. We had a young team, and probably all of us stuck with it and stayed with Nepean for the next year. I feel like now it's like guys play 30, 40 games, they're losing. They're like, hey, I'm moving on and going somewhere else. Like
Right.
it's different. Like I played with guys that had 50, 60 points and were afraid to ask for a trade. Now it's like you play 20 games, you have no points, and they're asking for trades. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, like what's going on here? Like you got to put up some numbers or like
Eh,
prove yourself at something. It don't have to be points, but it's just a little different now. I think it's like you know I don't know what they're like this year, but if they're younger, then hopefully all those guys come back next year and they're just that
Yeah.
much better.
They had a good draft this year, and they have some good pieces. So
Yeah,
whenever there is a season, if there is a
yeah. If there
season,
isn't, hopefully there is.
yeah, they're looking pretty good this season. So anyways, yeah, I just kind of wanted to get your take
For sure.
on that for sure. All right. So you also played NCAA, Oswego, New York,
Yeah.
and had some good seasons too. How was your experience playing there and going to the States?
It was probably the best 4 years of my life.
Oh,
It was,
that's what they say.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a cool place to play. It is D3, but
Yeah.
we get treated like a D1 school, and the atmosphere of the student section was crazy, and we
Oh
were
yeah.
good all 4 years too, right? Actually, maybe my third year, I think we were average, but the first year I think we lost in the final four.
Oh,
Second year was like the final eight. Third year was pretty average, and the fourth year I think we lost in the maybe final 12 or something like that. But
right. Okay.
yeah, some of my closest buddies now are the guys I lived with when I went to school.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think that your success with the Raiders maybe helped you transition playing there?
yeah, definitely. I think like growing up back home, you don't really understand how good you are until you go when you play against some of these guys. So
Right.
you're awesome back home. You're one of the best players, but then like you move to Ontario, you're like you're middle of the pack. You're not that good. You
Yeah.
don't really know. And then
Humbled
luckily
a little.
and then my second year was like okay, like I can kind of play with these guys. That's when I had a pretty good year. And, my third year was pretty good again. So then you don't really know a whole lot going, down to the States or how good it is. But, luckily I had a couple of good years. It gave me a bit of confidence. And I think that helped me transition down to, playing D3. And then right away, like my coach, Eddie, he gave me, all the opportunity right from the start. We had, I want to say, something like 20 freshmen going in my first year. I think we had like
Okay.
7 forward lines. It was crazy. And
Wow. Yeah. That's
like just to get in the lineup was like the biggest battle.
yeah.
So like I remember I played my the first game of the season I played, and I was pretty average. Like probably didn't play very good. Definitely nervous. And then I was saying, okay, like I'm out for game 2. Like no chance he's putting me back in, and he
Right.
did. He got a couple assists or whatever it was, and from there it was just like, okay, you got some confidence and go with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's so key, man. Yeah, a lot of people I talk to, confidence plays a big part, but the mental game is a lot of. It's really
Yeah, for
challenging. It
sure.
can be really, really challenging.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there there's a lot of players that make the transition to D3, and it's a pretty big change going to the States. What was like the biggest change that you had to go through going to Oswego, New York?
I mean, college hockey is a lot different. Junior's more of a skill game. When you get play college, like it's a bit of a grind because you only play 24 games a year,
Right.
so you only play on the weekends, right? So you're used to playing whatever is close to 60 games. Let's say a junior, you're playing Fridays, Sundays, Wednesdays. Then you come down here, you're playing Friday, Saturdays. That's it. So
Yeah.
you're practicing all week, and you're like, beating the crap out of each other just to get in the lineup. Then you get in the lineup, it's like, okay, this is almost like easier now. You finally get to play. That was definitely, a little different, just, playing, only 20, 24 games a season. That was
Yeah.
probably the biggest change. And it's like junior skilled. So down here, it's like everyone just works extremely hard. That's what
Mhm.
I found. Yeah.
So do you think that there's a maybe not a stronger work ethic, but maybe a more focused work ethic on sort of making that lineup when you go D3?
Yeah. I mean, it probably depends where you go to. But for us, we had so many guys, like
Yeah.
had to be good, you know, in school, first of all. Like I know our coach was kind of strict on like your grades and stuff. Like
Oh, okay.
if you were struggling, you'd definitely you'd be in trouble for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Did that ever
and
happen to
then
you?
no, luckily no. I don't know how. Maybe I had some good teammates to help me out.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Um, but yeah, like we had workouts all the time too. Like if you weren't working out hard, then you weren't getting in the lineup. So there's a little bit of everything to get in, but yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, man. So I was just looking at obviously doing a little research before I get to talking to you. There was a few games that you played with a German club,
Mm-hmm.
Walt Kreiberg. Is that how you say
Well,
it?
Freiburg, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming how did that come about is what I'm asking. Did you go
Yeah,
overseas
so
for that?
yeah, I finished my senior year at Oswego. And I was like, okay, I still want to play. So I actually went to Pensacola,
Right.
Florida for like maybe 10 games for the playoff run, which was like unbelievable. It was awesome there. I
Oh, yeah.
loved it. But I always kind of wanted to go overseas and see what that was like. So I actually signed in France first.
Oh, okay.
Didn't really know much. I don't even know what team I signed for or with. It was a team, and I was like, then I got a better offer, kind of go to Germany. A little bit of a better league too. So I was like, sweet. And actually, Brent Norris played on the same team in Walt Kreiberg, and I played with him in Nepean.
Right. Yeah, I actually saw that connection
So,
too.
so we kind of knew each other. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check this out. And I went over, and the hockey was good. Our team was bad, like
Oh, okay.
real bad. Like we were losing like 10-0, like
Oh boy.
15-2. Yeah. So it was a struggle. I ended up getting kind of hurt over there. Didn't really get the treatment I wanted. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of leave here and go back home. So I actually came back to Ottawa, did rehab for maybe a month, and then went back down to Pensacola, Florida,
Right.
and finished out down there. But yeah, Germany was cool. Like the experience, hockey over there, it's different. Rinks are bigger. It's all skill. It's fast. But just wasn't really the place for me.
Right. Um, did you end up learning any German while you were there? Or in the locker room, is it English or what?
I mean, most guys could speak a little English,
Okay.
but no, it was all German. And our coach was actually from Russia. I
Okay.
guess he spoke like terrible German, and the German guys were like, "Well, we can't even understand you." And then I just had no idea what was going on altogether. So
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I can imagine that there's a bit of a barrier there.
yeah, I think the only word I remember, like Danka, I think that was thank you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's
other
the
than
one I
that,
know.
I don't know anything. No, and I was only there for I think 90 days.
Right. It was a
Wasn't
shorter
very long.
experience for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, was there a nickname you had there playing in Germany? Like, did they give you a German nick? I'm sorry, I'm very fascinated by
Mm,
European league, so
I don't think so. I think it was just Kenny probably.
Kenny. Yeah,
No, I
fair
don't really
enough.
know. Yeah.
Um, again, you were there for not that long, but was there something that shocked you about maybe the culture or the way things played out there?
Yeah, it was different. Like 'cause I played in Pensacola, which is like pretty professional. Like you go to the rink, like everyone, like your job is to go play hockey.
Hmm.
And then in that league, guys have full time jobs. Um, it was definitely professional, but it wasn't like as professional as playing here in North America. Um, yeah, like what like I guess one of the things that was a little different is, you play here, you finish your game, like you're probably having a protein shake, maybe
Right.
stretching. Like over there, it's the first things like, hey, we're grabbing a beer at the beer fridge. I'm like, whoa, like we just lost 15-1. Like,
Oh my
yeah, that
goodness.
was different for sure.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Just go right to the beer fridge. Yeah. Well,
yeah. Win or lose.
um, the winner, win or lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also you hear a lot about atmospheres in Europe and
Yeah.
crowds and that. Is there
That
something
was different
different
too.
about
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. Cause at school, like we had like the student section, which was awesome,
Right.
like the fans. So there was
I
like
bet.
some
Yeah.
chants and like some songs they used to sing. Like that was cool for sure. We didn't have a band. I wish we had a band at school. That's one thing. But then in Europe, it's all about the drums. It's like a soccer atmosphere. So
Yeah.
like the
Exactly.
scarves and the drums, and yeah, they're like chanting the whole game, which
Yeah.
is which is different. It's cool though. It's a pretty cool atmosphere to play in for sure.
Would you prefer that or what was your preference?
I think I like the North American game for sure. Like that atmosphere. Like the rinks were definitely nicer in North America,
Oh, okay.
but Germany was cool too.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, obviously. Again, this was the last one about Germany. I swear to
Oh,
God.
good, no worries.
You weren't there that long, but and obviously you had to deal with an injury. But what was like a takeaway that you had from that experience?
Probably just Europe in general. It's so different living in Europe rather than living in like North America. Um, just everyday life's very different. The houses, the people, like everything was just so
Yeah,
different. I
it's a
think,
shock.
yeah, and like I think it's definitely cool to go live there for a little, experience it. Maybe I wish I lived there a little longer, maybe did another year there, maybe.
Mhm.
Um, but I think growing up in North America is definitely where I'd rather
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Listen, man, that's all the questions I have for you. I
No
really
problem.
appreciate you coming on and chatting with me just a little bit here. And yeah, again, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to kind of jump on, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, take care, man.
Awesome. Okay, take care.